Hey, it's Lockie, and today I have a review of the Bataleon Wallie. The Wallie is one of Batalion's super soft park boards, along with the Disaster. I lost a few files, so I don't have any footage of me riding this in the park, which is a pretty major thing for a review of any park board, but the rest of the riding will still show what the board is like, so take this review with a grain of salt. I still think that having any footage is better than none. If you aren't familiar with Bataleon boards, basically, they all have some amount of regular or traditional camber, though what sets them apart is the raise or the lift on the side of the board near the contact points. What it means is that you end up with a board that is loose and forgiving when you're riding it with a flat base, but once you put it over on its edge, it will still have the feel of a cambered board. There are a few ways that this varies between models. On powder boards, they'll have a ton of base shaping or lift with a small center base section. And with boards like the Wallie, they'll have a wide center base with just a little bit of lift. The version that the Wallie has is called the Jib 3BT, which has the widest center base option that they make. It has a bit of side base uplift, enough to keep it all forgiving and loose feeling, especially when you don't get a spin the whole way around. It also has side kick, which is just a little bit of extra uplift just outside the contact points. Seeing that this is made for park riding and especially rails, the wide centre base makes it easier to lock in 50/50s as it's nowhere near as round as the others. One of the most obvious differences from the Wallie compared to the Disaster or any of their other regular boards is the Wallie tips, which mean that the nose and the tail bend up quite hard, and that's supposed to make it easier to help the board smash over features you might not normally make it over. Being a park board, it has a true twin shape, so it'll ride exactly the same in both directions. It has some carbon stringers outside the bindings to help the edge-to-edge feel, the light core, and an extruded base. Separate from all the other features, the main thing that's going to sell this board is the soft flex. I was riding the 151cm Wallie, set up with medium Solomon Highlander bindings and a fairly narrow stance width. I'm 6 foot tall, weigh 155 pounds or 70 kilos, so this puts me right in the middle of the weight range for the 151, and is about the size I'd want to ride if I was buying a jib board. It was spring conditions with firmish snow, so it was a good test to see how well a soft board would hold an edge and handle some regular riding. Bataleon rate this board as having a flex of 3 out of 10, though to me I can't imagine how a board could be any softer than this and still stay rideable. Pressing the board could not be easier. It is unbelievably soft. So easy to move around that it almost fell right over the front, pressing it the first few times. I'm used to riding mainly mid to stiff flexing boards where you have to put in quite a lot more effort to press. I had to always make a conscious effort to tone down everything on the Wallie as it made it so easy. It also makes it very easy to cheat. Normally for a nose press you'd want to push your weight hard into the nose to bring the tail up, though on this board you can just pull the tail right up off the snow to make it look like you know what you're doing. Torsionally, it's very soft as well, which made small adjustments on rails and tubes feel very easy. I think that I notice it most when I'm trying to pretzel off a tube and need to wind up. The soft torsional flex makes it really easy on the Wallie. Although it doesn't have the biggest side base uplift, there is all the forgiveness you would need, especially if you're learning new tricks. I felt like I could always land at 90 and just swivel my way around with no issue, so it gives you tons of confidence to keep trying new tricks. Riding on regular runs was not as bad as I would have first imagined. Even with the smaller size and silly flex, it felt quite grippy. Though I quickly found the limits once I started to ride it like I would my regular boards. At high speeds, it would slide out unexpectedly sometimes, until I changed my riding to suit. For the soft flex, it was surprisingly snappy. It was fun to ollie, though I had to always make sure I was going to land with my weight properly centered, otherwise it would wash out. Being a jib board, it makes sense to only have an extruded base on it, and although it was waxed right before I rode it, after only a few laps the board was very noticeably grey and dry on the edges. The positive is that the soft base material is easy to repair once you do inevitably damage it. I was surprised about how fun this board was. I didn't expect to like it too much. Butters and pressing could not be easier, and the soft flex and forgiveness on rails is really nice. It's a very light board and noticeably thin. If you want a crazy soft board for the park, or even just want to learn a lot of butters, this is going to make it as easy as it can be. Just don't expect it to hold up super well if you want to ride fast. If you have any questions on the Wallie, leave them in the comments down below. And before you buy any new gear this season, search for it first on snowboardrobot.com/search to see if anywhere has it on sale.